Okay, guys, let's talk about the state of Manchester United and where this team sits at currently. Manchester United are just coming off a horrible season, probably the worst one since the Ferguson era ended. You had some of the reasons why this season was so horrible was because the amount of expectation that was there at the beginning of the season. Uh, Last year's summer's transfer window, and like this one, was quite good for United. It was almost perfect if they had time the CDM that they needed, but everything else that they needed, they got everyone that they wanted. They got Varane the centre back position, which was their main target. They got Sancho as the right wing position, which sure enough could have been done the summer before, but Sancho was their main target for the right wing position, and they got him in, and then they also got Ronaldo in, which was a surprise signing. No one was really expecting Ronaldo to come. If you had to bet on anyone to come to United, and if you had to predict, even better, if you had to predict who was coming to United, in last year's summer transfer window, Ronaldo was not on the list of one of those players. But still, Ronaldo was a good signing, a most welcome signing, and you started the season with the likes of Sancho, Varane, and Ronaldo joining your team. You just finished second in the league. You went into the Europa League final, which you lost, but you got to the final anyways. And Bruno had just had an amazing season. Shaw as well. Maguire, he didn't have, I wouldn't say a good season, but he wasn't bad either. So most players at United um, were coming off a great season, went on to do well in the Euros. Most players did, and then the amazing summer transfer window. So the expectation coming into the season was quite high. I expected United to finish at the bare minimum fourth. I thought that if they really went for it, they could have finished second. I've really thought that they could have gone in, at least into a run into at least about Feb. I predicted City to win the title, but I thought that United were going to be much better. None of that happened. Oli got sacked by, what was it, November, December, around that time. Ronaldo, Ronaldo was Ronaldo, but he couldn't be the Ronaldo that we. How can I say this? Ronaldo couldn't be his best because he didn't have the pieces around him to allow him to be his best. Bruno was awful. Rashford was awful. Maguire was probably had his worst season to date, and everyone else was just underwhelming. So coming into this transfer window, there is a lot of expectation. Ten Hag was a great appointment, right man for the job. It was really between him and Poch, and Ten Hag is the better appointment, better signing, better coach for the team, especially if you're thinking long term and in terms of development. Looking at his track record and what he's been able to do at Ajax with those young players. So you want to go with Ten Hag. Ten Hag is the best option. But although the manager side of things was very important and you got that deal done, now let's try and build the squad. And we're in July, and United have made one signing, and that is Malacia. You can also add in Eriksen. That is pretty much confirmed as well. But they've just announced Malacia, and I will get into Malacia in a second. But as a United fan, it's not looking too encouraging right now, as there is a lot of work to be done, and this board is not really known for being competent. And we're in July, and we've only signed Malacia. But yeah, we'll get into hello, Anurag. Sorry if I butchered your name. Hello, mate. Um, so yeah, we'll go into those guys in a second. But first, I want to talk about Ronaldo and what Ronaldo leaving means for Manchester United. Okay, Ronaldo is my favorite player, and I believe the favorite player for a lot of you, and for United fans especially. Even if you're not a United fan, I know a lot of people that do not support Manchester United, but whose favorite player is still Ronaldo. Ronaldo leaving, apart forget the football side of things, it just shows how incompetent and how behind. Brighton fan in the building. Well, guys, you're probably my first two comments in the live stream. How you doing, guys? Oh yeah, football last to 90. Oh yeah, I know you. I know you. How you doing, guys? Nice. Fine. Nice to have some convo in the chat. Anyways, yeah, is Ronaldo leaving mainly shows how incompetent this board is. For a player of Ronaldo's caliber, he even said that he wanted to stay. I bet he had those conversations with Ten Hag. But for him to, how you doing, Spurs Live? For him to want to leave, oh, Spurs Live, text me or send me an email. We should collab sometime. But anyways, for him to want to leave right now, it just shows that. It shows the level of incompetence. Guys, come on, I need to get through this. It just shows the level of incompetence that this club is at. No signings. Ronaldo has had enough of it, and they have to let him go. If no player is bigger than the club, especially not club of Manchester United side. It's not Ronaldo. Again, Ronaldo's my favorite player, but if he wants to go, then we should just let him go, let him move on. One, as a sign of respect, but also because you don't want a player, especially the caliber of Ronaldo, to not want to be here. Just let him go. I think that the best option for Ronaldo right now is Bayern. I think that a lot of you, yeah, we're gonna get into Eriksen in a bit. That's my next point after Malacia. But actually, let me touch on Eriksen quick. I think Eriksen is a good signing. I said that United's, I would say main targets, but some of United's, oh, you're a Spurs fan as well, so that speak for you guys. But United's main targets were that we need a striker, need a winger. Actually, forget that. I won't say winger. A striker for sure. Centre back. Um, CDM, the number 8. You can say winger, although I'm not. I think that United, our wingers right now, it's just because they underperformed so far. It's because we've underperformed so far. All of our wingers, Rashford, Sancho, especially those two, have underperformed massively. So yeah, you could say we need a winger, but not as those four uh signings. We don't need we don't need a winger as much as we need those four signings. And I think Ericsson comes in and covers two major aspects of United. One, the number 8 position, because Ericsson can play there. Just to talk about how Inter played in that winning title. Ericsson played in the midfield with Brozovic and Barella. Ericsson may not be the best number 8 option, but he is someone that can do the job and is way better than anyone we currently have, as in McTominay and Fred. If you compare McTominay and Fred just technically alone to Ericsson is miles ahead. But then you can also play Ericsson as a number 10, or if you want to, even off the right wing position, as Mata did sometimes. So yeah, we could do that. So I think Ericsson is a great signing on a free as well. Valuable asset. He can play in the different positions in the midfield. So a good signing, and I think is a much more important signings, and it covers one of the aspects that United should have covered coming into this window if they want to be serious about winning the title next season. But just let me just touch quickly again on Ronaldo. Yeah, they should let him go, and now the hunt is really for a striker. Before the window started, there were rumors of United going for Richarlison as a second striker. And I thought that Richarlison on the market, he was one of the valuable assets of the strikers that were available. You had Haaland was available, although City just wanted to snatch him. Yeah, you had Alvarez went to thingy City. He had Darwin went to Liverpool. He had Gabriel Jesus. There was a lot of rumors of him wanting to leave, and he was meant to leave. Just the way you look at the squad, that he just couldn't stay there anymore. Especially, I think that Guardiola bringing in Alvarez and Haaland, it really was just like the nail in the coffin in a way of saying, Jesus, me fam, there's no space for you here anymore. So yeah, Jesus had to leave. Jesus was available, and Richarlison. So there were 5 strikers available, 5 great strikers available, and now they're all gone. And now there's United are being linked to pretty much all the other strikers that could come in. One I saw that one of the links that I saw that was quite interesting was Martinez to United, and I don't think that's happening. One, why would Martinez leave Inter Milan, who was so close to winning the title next season, and who now have a better squad than Inter Milan, bringing in back Lukaku? Why would he leave that? Why would he leave the chance of possibly winning his second Scudetto to come to a team that's probably going to finish 6th again? Let's be honest. I am a United fan. I've said that before, but for them to for Martinez to leave for United right now, it's just you know not the right deal. And again, Jonathan David from Lille, would you United just being linked to a bunch of strikers right now? And this is a problem that one, if Ronaldo was really going to leave, if they knew that Ronaldo was going to leave, they should have sorted that out immediately. And even if they didn't know Ronaldo was going to leave, United needed a second striker, anyways, because Cavani was gone. And Igalo hasn't been here for a long time, and Martial has just underperformed. It will be interesting to see how Ten Hag develops these players, the likes of Martial, for example. But I don't really think, as United, we should really be relying on Martial coming into the season when we should have done our business better to be our main striker. It just shows again the incompetence of this board and why Ronaldo wants to leave. So let's talk about that a bit. Let's talk about Ten Hag's ability to develop players, and I think that that is going to be the biggest if for United this season because the De Jong business not looking too good, Ronaldo leaving, so Ten Hag is going to have to work with whatever he has. Again, this board is extremely incompetent. They've shown it multiple times before, and I'm saying incompetent with a few asterisks because there have been times where they've gotten the deals that United wanted. For example, Maguire was a player that they needed. Fred was a player that Mourinho needed. Ronaldo, Sancho, Varane. So I'm not saying incompetent in the sense that they don't spend and that they don't sign players. I'm saying incompetent as in getting the players that are needed. United have needed a CDM for how long? 5 seasons now? 3 seasons now? And every single window, they failed to do so. And the problem is just getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And this season, we saw how crucial it is to have a competent CDM, a quality CDM in the team. That's why teams like, I mean, every single team that's um, competing right now for a title, that have won a title this season, have an excellent CDM in their team, if that makes sense. Real Madrid, Casemiro, City, Rodri, Liverpool, Fabinho, Chelsea with the likes of Jorginho, Kante, and you can even put Kovacic there. I'm just naming these players off the top of my head. Inter Milan with Brozovic. All of these teams, even West Ham will rise. All of these teams, Bissouma are Brighton for how well they've done for the size of the club and the I'll say value of the team. All of these teams, the teams that have all performed well, they all have a crucial CDM, and there's no no surprise that a team that United that underdeveloped this season didn't have a CDM. It's, you need to sort the problems out. But yeah, talking about Ten Hag, I think that it will be very interesting, and I think that's the biggest if coming into the season, and why I'm so excited for this season to start, and even just the preseason. I just want to see how Ten Hag is going to set up this team. It's Ten Hag's development. I'll go back to the 2019 season. I'll go back to Ten Hag's 3 years at Ajax, where he won the league every single time, where he won the cup twice, and where he got this team to a Champions League semi-final. Getting this team that had De Ligt as a captain, De Ligt was how old? 2019 at the time. De Jong as the main CDM. And then you had a bunch. I don't want to disrespect these guys, but I'm going to call them a bunch of rejects. And for example, Tadic, his spell at Southampton in the Premier League was not it. That's why he went to Ajax. But Ten Hag turned him into a quality player, quality player, and he was an essential piece for Ajax. Guys like Ziyech coming up. Um, was it? I forgot his name. Anthony, for example. Tanak has a track record of taking these players and turning them into world class talent, and I want to see how well he performs or how well he develops the likes of Sancho, the likes of how the likes of Van der Beek come back into form, what he does with Malacia, what he can do. I think something that's just been talked about is how he's going to use Victor Lindelof, because Lindelof is a great ball progressor. He may not be the best defender, but again, we're talking about Ten Hag here. I want to see what he does with Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. There's so many young players at United, Garnacho, Elanga, so many young players at United that Ten Hag can work with. Wait, that Ten Hag can work with to take this team to the next level. Do you worry that Do you worry that Eric Ten Hag is only targeting Ajax players? I'm not worried. I was also thinking about that the other day. I was like, why is he only doing this? But then I realized every manager does that. For example, if you're talking about Jose Mourinho, a lot of the players that he brought in were either players that he worked with before or like Brazilian players or players in leagues that he has played in before. By a player in La Liga. Sure, La Liga is one of the biggest leagues, but Mourinho having previously worked with La Liga, I'm pretty sure he has links to La Liga. Bringing in the likes of Fred, again, a Brazilian player. Again, Mourinho does have contacts in that area. Bringing in players from Benfica in the Portuguese league, like Victor Lindelof and Dalot. I think that every manager brings in their own I want to say spice, but their own flavor into the team. They bring in the players that they know will perform for them. And in the case of Ten Hag, he's just bringing the players that he knows. For example, the first signing of Malacia, this is a player that Ten Hag has supported before. There's that video where he's telling his assistant to keep an eye on the kid that that pretty much had Anthony on his pocket that in that game when was Ajax against I forgot Marcia's last team. Sorry, I forgot the name of the team. Too many things in my head right now. Yeah, so every manager will bring the players that they believe are going to perform for them, the players that they know are good enough, and the players that they know about. So yeah, just on that quick, it could show that Ericsson doesn't have the right structure from the board to help him scout certain players, and they're not good. This is a. I'll take your point that he doesn't have the right structure. I'll say that United don't have the right structure. I think that United have been lacking in and that's identifying young talent. Let me give you, for example, how Liverpool have been able to scout players like Robertson and just and the way Klopp has been able to take them and turn them into great players, or even a club like Leicester that just brings in clubs like Leicester, Dortmund, and Benfica that bring in all these different players from pretty much nowhere and turn them into world class talents. United don't have that. And I get what you mean. It's true that Ten Hag doesn't have the right structure. I want to say Ten Hag doesn't have the right structure. I say Manchester United don't have the right structure. And they haven't had that structure for a long time. And he has bringing Ajax from 1819, and I would know how good Everton are pull an eye of talent. And yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see this season. But I'm not too much worried. I'm not too worried about Ten Hag's scouting. What I'm excited about is Ten Hag, how he's going to be able to work with the squad that he already has and take them into next season. What you just said, bro, I think as a United fan, that is hopeful. I wish I would had the ability, or our scouting network had the ability to go and identify those young talents. That's why the signings of the Palestri and Diallo was so surprising because we don't do that. We just go for the big names of players that have been performing quite well, like Bruno. So those two signings were very surprising, and I don't really expect us to see many signings like that. But even Malacia, I think that is Ten Hag bringing in his own flavor and the way that he likes to work, bringing in young players from different leagues. Yeah, this last point, let me just reiterate this. Ten Hag's development with this team will be very, very interesting. Now let's talk about Malacia quickly. Malacia is a good signing. He's a good player, a good talent, a good prospect. But again, those four urgent signings that I said at the beginning, they are much more important than the left back. Shaw and Tellers did not have a good season at all. But again, centre back, 8, 6, a striker are much more urgent. You're getting the 8 thing done with Eric Ten Hag, I mean with Eriksen that can play the 8 and the 10. So that's good. But you still have another 3 urgent places in centre back. Martinez could be that, but he's not here yet. So we can't talk on Martinez. A striker, right now, especially a striker is we needed a striker before Ronaldo left to be the backup to him. Now that Ronaldo's gone, it is even more urgent. A striker, and then finally the number 6, which is meant to be De Jong. But I'm getting scared with this too of De Jong, especially after the thing that the Barca um, president said that he wasn't going to go anywhere. That people are saying, "Oh, don't worry too much about that. That's just him speaking." That's just him speaking. We've seen this before with Sancho. This board, they can't push for signings. So they're not known for pushing for signings. If a club says no, they usually just give up on them. So again, it will come down to how Ten Hag is able to develop this young talent and the player. I've mentioned Martial, but another player that I'm really excited to see on the Ten Hag is James Garner. Garner just had an amazing season with Forest, helped them to come from the Championship to the Premier League. Was he a top 5 player at Forest? I don't know if I would say that, but he was definitely one of the most impactful players at Forest. Let's just look up how many games Thingy played last season. James Garner, my second monitor. So if you go to transfer market, Ghana in total last season for Forest in the Championship and FA Cup when they beat Arsenal. Bunter FC, man. Yeah, he played 41 games in the Championship and in total played 49 games. So he was definitely in and out of the squad. Give the guy a chance. Yes, we shouldn't really be putting that much expectation on Ghana, and De Jong should still be the main priority. But again, let's see what Ten Hag can do, and let's just give the guy a chance. Not give the guy a chance, but let's trust Ten Hag. Let's trust the process because that's the only option right now. We need to stop rushing managers. Let him do him. Let's see. And if De Jong doesn't come and speak for us, but again, let Ten Hag cook. De Jong. Oh yeah, the other signing I want to talk about was Martinez. If the Martinez signing happened, it would. I said we needed a striker, centre back, and CDM. I think that Martinez covers the centre back position, but he also adds something in there as well because if you get Martinez in and De Jong, you could put Martinez at the sixth position and put him to just stay there and shield the centre backs that need that shielding because our centre backs are our defense is shocking, absolutely shocking. Varane is injured most times, so we can't count on him. Lindelof again. I'm excited to see what Lindelof can become under Ten Hag because he's a great ball progressor. But defensively, Lindelof lacks in many aspects, especially when it comes to aerial balls. Maguire, I think we all know how bad Maguire is and how bad he's been this season. By you can't trust by another player that's injured all the times. I won't even talk about Phil Jones. I don't think that's worth my time. So if you can get a guy like Martinez who can play as a centre back and who at times can also play as that screen, which will also allow the likes of De Jong, Van de Beek, Eriksen, and Bruno to just go and do them. Whoever of the four is playing there. So yeah, Martinez is a great signing, and I think a key signing to what Ten Hag is going to do next season with United, and how during the season a lot of things happen. You have games, um, a- you have games changing. For example, the structure of games. You may have a Premier League game, FA Cup, Europa League. So you need players like that are versatile that can play in different positions, and Martinez is going to be that, and that is why I think Martinez is a must signing now. I'll not say he was a must signing at the beginning of the summer of the transfer window because I didn't know anything about Martinez. But right now, as the squad stands, it would be very nice to get a player like Martinez in. I think that it would be crucial and integral to how Ten Hag is going to play next season. Now, I want to talk about one of my favorite players at United right now, and a player that's been disrespected a lot, and that is Marcus Rashford. I'll talk about Rashford and Sancho at the same time in pretty much the topic again of how Ten Hag is going to develop this team. And Rashford and Sancho are the two players that I'm most excited about. It goes Rashford and Sancho, the two players that I'm most excited about to see how they work on the Ten Hag. They have lots to prove next season. Lots to prove. Oh, Spurs Live. Big up JVM, mate. Keep going. You too, bro. You too. So I've seen you Spurs Live. Keep going, man. Yeah, those two have a lot to prove. The second player that I have that I'm very excited to see on the Ten Hag is Garner, and then Van der Beek, and then Lindelof. Those five players are the ones I'm most excited to see under Ten Hag. And now I'm just going to talk a bit about Sancho and Rashford. Okay, so just quickly, before this season, where were Rashford and Sancho respectively? So when Sancho was still at Dortmund and Rashford in that season where we were in the Champions League, that was a season where Rashford finished with over 20 goals scored in all competitions. So in a total of, let me just open it up quick. So, in a total of 57 games played, Rashford scored 21 goals and assisted 15 times. And I keep coming back. Oh, and he also was the Champions League. He finished as the top goal scorer in the Champions League. Again, people seem to have amnesia. No disrespect to those people that actually have amnesia, of course. What I'm trying to say is people are too quick to forget. And Rashford also had surgery in October. This is probably the 10th time I talk about this in my channel, but this is something that I'm very passionate about because Rashford, I don't know why people are saying that Rashford and Sancho are dead. They're not. They're amazing players. They just had a bad season, especially when they're young players. Bad seasons are going to happen. Sancho, before coming to United, 16 goals and 20 assists in a season. They had a bad season, both of them. They did. Now you give both of them, these two guys, one that finished as the group stage, Champions League group stage top scorer last season, and you get Sancho, a player that had 36 goal contributions in all competitions last season, including 2 goals and 3 assists in 6 Champions League games. You you give them Ten Hag. You give them you give those two Ten Hag, the guy that has arguably developed the most talent over the past few seasons. You can talk about Dortmund, you can talk about Benfica, you can even talk about Leicester, but you cannot deny me that Ajax have also developed a lot of talent, the likes of De Ligt, De Jong, and etc. And that was Ten Hag. Now you're gonna get these two guys who are going to work their butts off this summer because they have a lot to prove, and the World Cup is coming, and they want to get in that England squad. Gonna get those two to play on the Ten Hag. How is it going to go wrong? It can't go wrong. And that's why I'm so excited about this because these two are going to have an amazing, amazing season next season. Mark my words, clip this, whatever you want to do, they will. Okay, let's leave those two alone. I just really wanted to talk about that for a second. And yeah, should we talk about Malacia again? Malacia, Martinez. So yeah, we also linked to the pie as a striker for a striking option instead of Ronaldo. It just shows how far we've come. It just shows how far we've come for us to be. I don't think the pie would be a bad signing, not at all. Coming from the Netherlands as well. Maybe Ten Hag could put in a word. That'll probably be good. But yeah, we need to get this Martinez deal done. I think Martinez is more important player than a lot of people give him credit for. Get Martinez done, very important signing, and then get De Jong done as well. Is that spine? If you De Jong playing in the central midfield zone, an area that has been horrible for United, not only get a quality player in like De Jong, but get a player that Ten Hag trusts is also very important because you can get in any other player. For example, I really thought that we could have went for Bissouma or Rice, but I understand why Ten Hag wants to go specifically for De Jong. It's his guy, his player that understands his philosophy that he have to come through. So you'd also be less work for Ten Hag, and again, someone that he trusts in the middle of the pitch in an area that United lacks to be very, very important. So Martinez, get De Jong, and get a striker in. I think that if United can do that, then perhaps a again. Malacia is a good signing, but the right back position is more important than the left back position. In the left back position, we have Shaw and Telles, both which had a bad season, but that on paper, especially if you're looking at their careers, have been good players. Then you have Dalot and Wan-Bissaka that have both been shaky players. The right back position was way more important than the left back position. Yeah, the opportunity was there, and I think that Malacia is a good signing, but we should have got a right back before that. That's another area that I didn't even touch upon that we should fix. Again, get the young in. Oh, wait, what did you say? Just YouTube channel. Could I use players' name and picture of them in the thumbnail? Because I'm no, yeah. I'm pretty sure you can use their names and pictures in the thumbnail. Yeah. I think that the thing is, just watch out for videos. Videos are very tricky. If you're gonna do videos, make sure you're using free clips or something like that, or something that's not too long. If I say 30 seconds is the sweet spot. Titles and thumbnails, I think is pretty fine, mate. Don't worry about that one. But yeah, De Jong. Martinez, and make sure you get in a striker. Mm, We're in July, about a month and 3 weeks. If United can do that, then we're setting ourselves up to have a good season next year on the Ten Hag, and we're giving Ten Hag the best platform to succeed. Let's also start doing that. Let's start helping our managers and not just throw them under the bus like we did last season. Uh, with Oli by not getting him a CDM, and last season we did with Jose Mourinho by not getting him as centre back. But that's it, guys. Thank you. If you watch this live, I think Blake's football meets. Thank you for watching, man. Thank you for commenting as well, man. Thank you very much, and good luck on your YouTube channel that you're starting. Make sure to subscribe to your channel. Yeah, thank you if you watch it live. If you're watching afterwards, really means a lot, guys. As I said at the beginning of every video that I make, this is just the beginning of something special. And if you want more content like this, live streams, more concise edited videos, shorts, tier lists, top tens, everything, man, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, and see you next time, guys.